Hey everyone, this is Laura Gadenig with Laura Gadenig Astrology, and I'm here to give you the astrology for the weeks of May 1st through the 14th, 2023. Before I get started, I just want to ask that you like or comment in the comment section if you find this video helpful. Maybe even subscribe. It really helps the channel to grow, and I'd love to hear how the astrology is impacting you. Okay, so this next couple of weeks are pretty big. We are still in the midst of eclipse season, and this upcoming week we have an eclipse in Scorpio. So I'm going to start there, and then I'm going to backtrack to Monday just because the eclipse is the most important thing happening this week. And so it's happening on Friday the 5th, and it's happening at 14 degrees of Scorpio, while the sun is really close to the planet Uranus. So eclipses are times of great changes, in particular because this eclipse is a south node eclipse. These are times of changes that are about ending something. And the moon traditionally kind of struggles in the sign of Scorpio, right? The moon is a planet about comfort and security and, feeling nurtured and comfortable. And Scorpio likes to go beneath the surface of things, get deep, go into deep waters, which isn't always the most comfortable, right? Like revealing things that have possibly been kept secret or that haven't been like in your conscious awareness. Those aren't always the most comfortable things. So the moon, whenever the moon is in Scorpio, transit-wise, it can be a bit of an uncomfortable day unless you are a moon in Scorpio native, then you're used to the energy. But this eclipse, because it's an eclipse in Scorpio where the moon will be in Scorpio, it's a time of big emotional release, or it can be. Some grief might come up, some tears might come through. This is about endings particularly related to the part of your chart that contains Scorpio. So whichever house that has Scorpio on the cusp, there are endings that are happening in that area of your life. And this isn't new to anyone. We've been having eclipses in Scorpio for the last year and a half, and this is the final wrap up of this eclipse season and of this eclipse cycle. So thinking back over the last 18 months or so, what have you been letting go of? What have you been transitioning out of? What have you been transforming? And how has that been connected to your emotional world, your grief, your sense of safety and security? How has that been relating to your sense of safety in the world? Because Scorpio is so much about safety and security. And Taurus and Scorpio, Taurus is the sign opposite of Scorpio. Those two signs really are a lot about safety, and they're fixed signs, and fixed signs don't want things to change, but Scorpio does remind us that the only constant in life is change, is endings, is death and transformation, death and rebirth, right? So it's a time, it's the season for it. It's the season for endings, for cleaning out something, cleaning out maybe your metaphorical closet, letting go of something, and that might involve some big emotion. So just keep that in mind. These endings, there might be an element of surprise here because the sun is conjoined with Uranus, or is very close to the planet Uranus, which is a planet about surprises and unexpected changes, essentially. So it could be a bit surprising. And you might notice this energy all throughout the week. However, Friday in particular, when the eclipse is happening in the morning, you'll notice it more so. And it's always good when it's eclipse season to kind of lay low, don't make big plans, don't do any sort of like ritualistic moon ceremonies or anything like that. Just kind of rest and retreat and take care of your body. Okay, so going back to Monday, which is today, on the 1st, Mercury, which is still retrograde, makes a conjunction with the sun. This is called a Mercury cazimi. Cazimi is when a planet enters the heart of the sun, when it's at the same degree. And this is a moment of clarity, of insight, perhaps around what this Mercury retrograde cycle has been about for you. And once again, Mercury and the sun are in the sign of Taurus. So look to the part of your chart that contains Taurus, whatever house that is, those topics. You might find that you have new clarity around something around involving those topics. So moment of clarity, insight, maybe even a moment to take action. Normally we don't want to like make big decisions necessarily during a Mercury retrograde, but this might be because it's conjoined with the sun. Mercury gets kind of like special significations or special insights or energy. And so it could actually be a good moment to make a decision or take an action of some kind. But yeah, just kind of, it's a good day for contemplation. What has this Mercury retrograde cycle been about for you? Remember, Mercury retrogrades are all about reviewing something, reflecting over something, perhaps renegotiating. Going back over the territory you've already crossed up until this point and reflecting on that. So on the same day today, Pluto stations retrograde. So Pluto recently entered Aquarius, where it'll be for the next like 20 years or so. And it's at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So it's going to retrograde back out of Aquarius into Capricorn again. And I think it won't re-enter Aquarius until like January of 2024. But Pluto stationing retrograde, just make a note of it. It'll still be in Aquarius for the next few months. But it is retrograding, and honestly, Pluto and all the other outer planets, Neptune, Uranus, even Saturn, spend about half the year retrograde. So it's not like a huge deal. It's not like a big deal like when Mercury goes retrograde, for instance. So that's happening. Thursday the 4th, the day before the eclipse, Venus, planet of love and beauty and connection and pleasure and joy, she makes a square with Neptune and then a sextile with Jupiter. So Venus, right, wants us to have fun, wants us to connect, wants us to experience joy and pleasure. Jupiter makes that bigger, right? Like expansion, growth, make new connections. And then Neptune adds this kind of like, just like relax and take the day off kind of vibe and, get lost in the flow of something. So Thursday the 4th is a really good day to chill. Like don't work if you don't have to, have fun. It could be a day full of pleasures, full of relaxation, full of like community connections, friendships, love, romance. My one, thing to note about this day and about these transits, sometimes Venus, when Neptune and Jupiter are involved, can take things a bit too far. So just be wary, unless it's like, like I'm graduating from an MSW program. And so actually this day is the day that I'm celebrating. I'm having a party. So it's kind of like, I'm definitely going to maybe take it, I'm going to have a good day. I'm going to have a fun day. I might take it a little bit to the extreme. I might have a couple drinks, right? So whatever's appropriate for you, but just know that, especially with the eclipse happening the next day, we don't want to maybe take things too far with pleasures and having fun, just because the next day is so much about purging and releasing and letting go. So, but Thursday the 4th really should be a lovely day. Relax, get lost in an art project, and something very enjoyable for you. Sunday the 7th, Venus moves into Cancer. So Cancer is a sign about home and family connections. And so Venus brings blessings to home and family. So you might find that you are connecting more with your family. Venus also brings blessings and sweetness and good fortune to the part of your chart that contains Cancer. So whatever house that is for you, those themes and topics will get a boost of sweetness of some kind. Venus is leaving Gemini, where she's pretty flirty and maybe a bit more adventurous, and entering into more introverted and sensitive and boundaried Cancer. So you might notice not feeling maybe as flirtatious or connective or outgoing or social as you might have when Venus was in Gemini. Tuesday the 9th, the sun makes the exact conjunction with Uranus. So this might feel like breaking free from something, expressing something new about yourself, maybe expressing a part of you that is you feel is authentic, that you haven't expressed before. This is a day about individuation, going your own way, doing your own thing, doing something new with the day, with your time, going against the norm of the day. There could be an element of unexpected changes or surprises. Excuse me. Friday the 12th, Mercury makes a sextile to Saturn. This feels like a good day to apply yourself mentally, to have more serious conversations that go well. There's more of a like kind of get it done attitude and like productivity attitude on this day. At the same time, Venus in Cancer sextiles Mercury, so this feels like having sweet messages, sweet conversations with others, maybe connective banter, maybe some poetry. Mercury rules the mind and communications, and Venus is all about sweetness and love and connection. And so if you combine those things, you know, like, connective conversations, being able to write beautiful love notes or poetry or stories. So very quick aspect, not super long, you might not even notice it. Then Saturday on the 13th, Venus makes a really beautiful trine to Saturn, a planet about commitment and longevity and boundaries and kind of containment. And so this feels like a time where we might be making commitment in relationships, or there might be a sense of stabilization, at least in relationships, a sense of security, perhaps more of a commitment to family relationships, or to, you know, Venus rules over also like art projects, collaboration, so commitment to a project, a collaboration. And also Venus is a planet about our values and what we value and how we value. So maybe a deeper dive or kind of look into like, what do I value? And according to what I value, what are my boundaries? And how can I live according to that? What would feel good? Sunday the 14th, Mercury stations direct at 5 degrees of Taurus. So that'll be a big moment of Mercury, you know, it'll still be like moving very slowly at that point. So if you have any planets around 5 degrees of Taurus or the other fixed signs, Scorpio, Leo, or Aquarius, this will be more impactful for you. But essentially when Mercury is stationing direct, it's starting to move forwards again. And so Mercury will be crossing over the same territory that it just traveled through for the third time. So this will be the time where we are feeling like we're moving forward with Taurian topics, and with the house that has Taurus on the cusp. Okay, that's the astrology for the next couple weeks. I hope this was helpful. Once again, please like, subscribe, comment, that really helps. And I'm open for consultation, so please reach out if you're interested. Okay,